Welcome to Sensor Noise, a podcast about photography where we have full magnets.
Full magnets.
Full magnets. Relationship is great. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
We were going to talk about WWDC this week.
Yeah.
But there's a big boatload of nothing for camera news.
Yeah, well, and also it's just not that exciting because they're basically like, what if we made our operating system look like Windows Vista? It's like, well, we had that already. It was called Windows Vista.
We did. It was called Vista. Yeah.
And people, it went over so well that they retooled it pretty extensively for Windows 7. So, yeah.
Yeah.
What if we removed all the contrast from our user interfaces so that it was impossible to distinguish interactable elements from non-interactable elements? You know,
so this reminds me of iOS 7 a lot. I think it's going to.
You think they're gonna dial it back?
They're gonna dial it back, yeah.
But the initial stuff is like, what are you doing over there?
I get where they're going with it, but they did overshoot a bit, and they're gonna have to
reel it back.
They're gonna have to undo that a little bit, which is fine. I think that's how design works. I think you have to do that.
Design is how it works. I've heard.
How it works.
So
they've simplified the camera app, though.
Oh yeah, because that's what it needed, was to be even simpler.
That's right. Yeah, I don't know about this one. They've hidden more buttons away or something.
How long until they're like, oh, you don't even have to press the the shutter button. Instead, the AI will determine when to take a photo for you.
Yeah. Right.
So you're just moving your camera around. It's like click. Like what? That's not. Anyway, there were a number of announcements in the camera world, and we're going to start with by far the most important one: Lenovo. Lenovo has debuted a cheap compact camera just for China. It's about $69 over there. It is called the Lenovo C55. It features a 64 megapixel 1/3 sensor, which is significantly smaller than the sensors typically found in most smartphones.
1/3. So, 64 megapixels. So, in low light, you just get what? Just
not a
snow?
Lot. I guess so.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Lenovo says the camera can record 4K video, features what appears to be a fixed 2.inch display, and includes special effects filters accessible via a top control dial. The lens seems to be a fixed focal length one, although the 64 megapixel sensor enables up to 18x digital zoom.
I mean,
smart dial, it says. Yes. So, as DP Review notes in its coverage, Sony does not publicly list a 64 megapixel sensor of this size.
Yeah.
Interesting. Doesn't have a viewfinder, doesn't have, a whole lot of much of anything.
I mean, the thing is, it is kind of a compelling package.
It does have a built-in LED ring light, although it doesn't appear that bright. But
I mean, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of compelling. Very odd, though, from Lenovo.
Yeah, Lenovo, the camera company. Everyone knows Lenovo's cameras.
Yeah. The form factor is good, though. I don't know.
It's a tiny little thing. It's it's like a point and shoot.
Does have a selfie mirror, also. It looks like.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So you can take selfies, which is what it's for.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask my coworkers what they think of this, because they are Chinese nationals and they're more in touch with the zeitgeist of the culture over there. I'm very curious if this is like I know that we in the US have a point and shoot revolution, but is this actually something
what is
people
that?
Want? I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Good question. Hard to say.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell.
No, that was a joke. The actual big announcement is the Fujifilm XE5.
Yes.
Now, what do you know about the XE series?
Nothing.
So the XE series was for a long time their sort of intro type camera,
Sure.
The the XE4, the one previous to this, pretty simple camera, no viewfinder, just the back display, like one knob, one shutter speed dial, and then some other knobs, a fine, has the X-Trans CMOS 4 sensor, that kind of thing. It was kind of designed for like here's your, kind of get into the Fuji X, kind of thing. But the XE5 is basically, what if you took an X106 and made it so that the lens is interchangeable? Which is very interesting and appealing to me. Yeah.
So the X Pro is dead then?
I don't know. It's a good question. This XE5 does actually have an electronic viewfinder. It's pretty small, but there is one there. This has a film simulation dial, much like recent Fuji cameras. But the interesting thing about this one is that it is windowed. It's under a little tiny plastic window.
Yeah, I see that. Which is interesting.
Just a sort of classic, I guess, nod or something like that.
Yeah, it's like evoking looking through the window at the film canister that you've got in there, whatever.
Yeah, and then this has their, latest. This is a 40 megapixel sensor, all the latest technology. Things
and it takes
like
regular old like XF lenses.
Yep. They did come out with a new XF 23mm f2.8 RWR 35mm full frame equivalent, which is a pretty small lens. It's quite compact. I think it's probably not much bigger than like the X106 is, in terms of
I'm looking at my X105 here. It looks about the same size, I would say.
Early reviews of this are seem to be that it's pretty good. I like the idea of what if small camera had interchangeable lens. So
the only thing it's lacking from the X100 series then is the actual rangefinder.
Yeah,
right. So it has just the electronic viewfinder. It doesn't have a rangefinder, but otherwise it seems like it's the same thing.
Yeah. The rear LCD is a tilt design, but it doesn't, it only tilts up or down. It doesn't like roll around.
Sure.
Fine, whatever. And this is, comes in silver and black. Now this is, I think it's interesting, although I guess this is actually kind of in line with the price of the XE4. It is, $16.99. And then with the lens, it is $18.99.
So which is like the same price as the X100 series.
It's basically the same price, and this is also pretty much the same price as my Nikon CF. I think that's also right around there. Which I think this is kind of a little bit. I mean, Fuji's are already more of that sort of classic design anyway. They have had all the knobs for a while. This only has knob wise, well, it has the film simulation knob. It has a shutter speed knob, and then it has an exposure compensation knob. So it doesn't have like an ISO knob or anything, but it's still pretty close.
Well, it has slightly more grip than the Nikon does.
Well, that is true.
Slightly.
And it does have a shutter button that you can screw a shutter release into, which is kind of cool. Novel for a camera of this size.
But all the Fujis do. The X100 has that too.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. This is it's
cool.
Interesting.
This, like, honestly, if I ever feel the need to replace my X100, it's probably this instead of a new X100.
Yeah, I kind of want to go
like the same size,
and I kind of want to go see this in person, see like how pocketable it is. I guess.
I mean, it looks like it's the same physical size as the X100, which is to say, not pocketable. But
wow, yeah.
I guess it depends. If you're in cargo shorts, you or your big Jinkos.
You know me.
You're a Jinkos man. You got plenty of room.
That's correct. Yes.
I mean, yeah, it looks good. I wonder if they'll be able to ship them.
Also
a good question for Fujifilm.
Yeah, because
can you actually get one?
the XM5, which they came out a couple months ago with, which is their cheap one, is very hard to get.
Right.
So, we shall see.
So now this does, like we said, this begs the question: what about the X Pro?
You would think it's got to be
have
next
a reason
up,
to
right?
exist though anymore?
Like
what does the X Pro 3 do that this doesn't?
Yeah.
It seems like nothing.
It's a good question. I guess the thing that the X Pro has is the trick viewfinder.
Right.
But that's pretty much it.
It doesn't have anything else that this doesn't have now.
Well, yeah, because apart from the trick viewfinder, like the X Pro also has a shutter speed dial, an exposure compensation dial.
Right.
It does have a back display. It is pretty similar. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe that's what they mean when they said that they weren't really going to probably make another.
Yeah,
X
like
Pro
do anything with it.
Yeah.
Because the X Pro always to me was, okay, you want an X100 where you can change the lens.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's pretty much what it was. And now that's this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I guess I wish it had the little like trick display that showed you the film simulation that you selected. But the dial is more practical, I feel like.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess we'll see what they do, but I wouldn't expect to see an X Pro 4 anytime soon with this thing out. I feel like this supplants it, I think.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We've said things like that before, and then they've immediately come out with the... I don't know. Either way, I feel like we win. So.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because there's also the GFX 100 RF too now.
That's true, yeah.
With all of these like cameras in the same body style, I don't know, the X Pro doesn't fit anymore.
What they've done is they decided that having a whole bunch of different camera bodies is too expensive. So what if we had one camera body?
Everything looks the same.
And then we just stuff different sensors into it.
Yeah,
and then all we have to do is modify. You only have to buy molds once. It's genius. Yeah. In other news, Rollei has come out with a lens? ? For digital cameras. This is Rollei.
Why would they go and do that?
Yeah.
This is Rollei, the film, film camera.
Yeah, best known for their TLR cameras. They have announced the Rollei AF 85mm f1.8 STM, which will ship next month in Sony E and Nikon Z mount versions.
Now, is this a Yashica situation?
I think it is a little bit. Yes.
Okay.
I think that there is a likelihood that this is just like one of the other.
Like, is this a Viltrox lens or something?
Yeah, that's just had like a sticker put on it. I think that is fairly likely.
Let's see. 85 1.8 Viltrox. Let's see. Is there one of those? It looks different, but maybe it's the same thing with a different housing.
Yeah. Yeah. Viltrox and Rollei have a collaborative relationship. It says here in the article.
So it's the Viltrox one then.
Probably, yes. With just
a different
grip
body
or something. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Still,
like the Viltrox AF 85 f1.8, the Rollei 85 f1.8 features 10 lens elements arranged across 7 groups, although the precise elements differ slightly. But so it seems like
DP review says it shares a lot of commonalities with the 7 Artisans 85 1.8.
Interesting. These probably all come from the same factory.
Almost certainly, yeah.
Yeah. This is just a rebadged 7 Artisans 85 f1.8. The optical formula is identical. So, yeah. I think the thing is that you're just going to be paying a bit more for it than
for the brand name. And I don't know about you, but I don't think Rollei has the Leica cachet on their brand.
Well, I don't know. Can you also see the photo of this? Like the way that the Rollei logo has been added to this is basically like they got a metallic sticker.
It on there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's not exactly like well done. So
no, not at all.
This will be available for about $340. The 7 Artisans lens is $40 cheaper. At least at list price. It probably has a coupon because a lot of the time they have coupons.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would get the other one.
Yeah, I'll get the other one, especially if it's basically the same lens. So.
So tell me about this is a topic I don't really understand. Something about Kodak and Remjet. What's going on with this?
So there was a report in Cosmophoto a couple weeks ago that Eastman Kodak is replacing the Remjet layer from their Vision 3 cinema films, and this requires some background as to why this is like big news kind of thing. So the way that film works, still image film, basically has something called an anti-halation undercoat, which is like a transparent layer that's on the back of the film that basically prevents the light from reflecting off the plate at the back of the camera and then back into the film. When that happens, it creates an effect called halation, which is like the reddish glow around lights that you get in like old films or in photography that is taken with film that doesn't have a halation layer. Now, for motion picture films, what has been the case forever is that they don't have a layer for that. Instead, what they do is they put what's called removable jet black or remjet, which is literally just a layer of like jet black on the back of the film that just completely blocks the light. Because I think for a while there were concerns about like durability of an anti-halation coating when it's going through a film camera at like 24 frames per second, things like that. And so processing cinema film requires you to do this initial step where you basically dissolve the remjet layer.
You dissolve it first. Yeah.
Right. And if you don't do that, if you try to process it as still film in the C41 process, you will basically muck up the machine or the
I'm assuming that remjet becomes like some horrendous goop.
Yeah.
If you don't remove it.
Exactly. So, you can process motion picture film C41 as long as you have, first removed the remjet. And this was sort of how Cinestill got its start originally, is that they basically took the Kodak Vision 3 films and pre-removed the remjet, and then spooled it and resold it. For a while, they were doing that themselves, and then they made some sort of arrangement with Kodak to just get the film, without the remjet on it from the start, so that all they had to do was like spool it into a smaller film. But now what Eastman Kodak is saying is that for their Vision 3 motion picture films, they are going to remove the remjet. Remjet is basically it's just a layer of carbon, essentially. It reduces halation, prevents the buildup of static electricity, which is also a thing that you have more of a concern with in a motion picture camera, obviously, because it's plastic moving across metallic components at 24 frames per second. What they've said is that they have basically developed a new anti-halation undercoat layer, like the kind that you find in still image film. And they said it does not alter sensitometric performance, nor does it require any adjustments in processing while product with remjet is still in the market. So they say this should actually help. It should be easier for labs to process with a reduced risk of dirt specks, which you can get, if you don't fully remove the remjet properly. But what this means is that for, still photographers like myself, it is now possible to, get this Vision 3 film and pretty much use it directly and then develop it in C41 chemistry instead of ECN2 chemistry. And what's interesting is that this kind of might, in some sense, undercut like Cinestill's whole business a little bit, as well as some other film companies whose whole thing is basically taking cinema film and removing the remjet and then spooling it back in, because they're basically going to just take care of that. Now, I don't think that Eastman Kodak is themselves going to be spooling their Vision 3 film into like 36 exposure rolls, but it's interesting. It certainly makes it easier, and I feel like it's maybe a recognition on their part that this sort of thing was happening anyway. So we'll see. It's interesting. Some folks are concerned that it'll like one of the more popular Cinestill films is 800T, which is a good film for low light, and it has very pronounced halation effects, and people are like, oh, is that going to go away now? Because the film is going to have the halation undercoat. That'll be interesting to see. Like, is the film that they're supplying to Cinestill now going to have this added layer, basically?
Right.
I suspect that Cinestill will probably not want that. That's kind of one of the big draws of that particular film. But yeah, it's interesting. It's a curious development.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why are they changing the process at this point? Right? They're not making a new film stock.
Right. It's a good question, because it's not like
it's not like remjet is new. It's been on there for 50 years.
Yeah, and it's not like film. It's not like motion picture film is like suddenly becoming massively more popular. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. It's an interesting. It's like you're doing this now. Like, why didn't you do this like decades ago? But yeah, it's a weird one.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sure. Yeah. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Wandrd, which we actually haven't talked about in a while.
We love Wandrd. We love a Wandrd backpack.
They have announced a new backpack, the Provoke V4. V4. Now, here's the thing. They're still doing this via Kickstarter, and I'm like, come on, guys.
Yeah, do that. What? Okay. What? Hold on. What is it with backpack companies and Kickstarter? Can we stop doing that?
Just let me buy it.
Just let me buy the damn backpack. You don't need to do Kickstarter, man.
Right. You have, there's actually, I guess there's two backpacks here. You have the Provoke V4, and then introducing the Provoke EDC.
Now,
so we got to get into the EDC thing.
So what's the difference with mine and the V4? It doesn't look like that much.
There is a new version of the camera cubes, the Essential and Pro Camera Cube V2s.
Yeah, I see that. That I may get one of those.
Yeah.
To switch. Because I've stopped using this backpack for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my Provoke is now just my camera backpack. I don't take it to, like, work anymore.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to get one of I have the small camera cube.
Mm-hmm.
But I want the bigger camera
big
cube
one
now, because the whole thing is for camera, so that makes more sense.
Right. They have introduced two new colors. There is Atacama Clay and Rhone Burgundy. Rhone Burgundy looks pretty good. The clay, it's just brown. Yeah.
They got a bigger one, it looks like, now, too. There's a 41 liter.
There is, yes. I'm trying to see what this is the thing of the Kickstarter is. Like, okay, what is the difference here?
No, there's a video. You got to watch a video to find out what the difference is. I'm not doing that.
The Provoke V4 comes in 4 sizes and 7 colors, and is joined by a new Provoke EDC or everyday carry version that just comes in 1 size, but still arrives in 4 color camera options.
So what's the EDC then? Is it just smaller?
The EDC, significant aspect of the new Provoke V4 is its redesigned straps. Wandrd has invested considerable effort in redesigning the shoulder, chest, and waist straps to ensure a more comfortable fit for a broader range of wearers. While the Provoke is designed to be easily customizable and thus feature a cavernous interior that accommodates various cubes and gears, the Provoke EDC is intended to be a more traditional backpack suitable for commuters, students, and travelers. It also doubles as a tote bag thanks to magnetic top handles.
All of them do that.
Yeah.
All of them have that, right?
Yes, they do.
Okay,
is
it
it
looks
basically
like it has
that
a smaller
the EDC,
roll top.
Does it have
smaller
the
roll top
included
and the
camera
back
cube? Or
no,
is it just
doesn't have a camera cube.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
And the back doesn't like open up like the regular one does. It's a zipper.
Okay.
You've got a tablet zipper on the top, and then you've got a zipper on the side for laptop access.
Mm-hmm. Love the top comment here on Petapixel. It says, I have a cool idea for the name. Why not add a couple of vowels? Then you wouldn't need the advice in parentheses about how to pronounce it.
Free vowels. They're free.
Yeah, they're free. You can use as many as you want, actually. So
in the EDC, they're saying you can fit a MacBook, a Steam Deck, an Insta360, some sunglasses, a water bottle, an iPad, Bose headphones, some notebooks, a battery.
That's too much stuff. Why do you need all those things with you at one time?
Well, because you're an urban explorer, you see.
Mm.
When you're an urban explorer, you need to carry all that stuff with you at all times.
Yeah. Now, is that the large one, the largest one that they put?
No, that's the EDC. That's the EDC.
Oh, the EDC. Okay. Yeah.
So that's not even the biggest one.
Yeah. Well, yeah. In the Provoke 41 liter, they show a MacBook, a RED camera.
Yeah, sure.
Which
that's
is
what
immediately. I'm like, I don't know about that. Yeah.
Come on now.
Interesting. Yes, the Provoke.
Well, they're already at $191,000 of $25,000 on this Kickstarter, so it'll definitely ship. Yeah.
My hot take on the Wandrd bags is that the orange is one of the better colors, but I think this burgundy is going to turn out to be a nice color.
Yeah, the green burgundy looks nice too.
The green, I feel like they fiddle with the green in the images to make it look more green, and in real life, it doesn't actually look that green. Yeah, it's kind of disappointing because it's not really that green.
But yeah, the burgundy looks good. I have the orange. The orange is great.
Yeah, I do like these bags. Nice. I mean, the whole bag is basically coated in plastic, so it's like extremely water resistant and all that. And
I've never had any water ingress issues at all with them.
Yeah.
And I've gotten rained on several times.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, it looks like here's another change. It looks like the roll top is now made of the plastic coated material as well.
Interesting. Okay, that does make
so that is an improvement.
Yeah,
because right now the roll top is just, I don't know what you call that, the like
ballistic nylon,
the Cordura nylon, whatever it is.
Yeah,
but yeah, it looks like now it is. Now it's the same material.
Yeah, and I will say that
the roll top isn't going to let water in.
The camera cubes that are in these are quite nice too. They're pretty good.
They are nice, yeah.
Available post Kickstarter, you can also get a waist bag that clips in instead of the waist strap. You can basically have two little fanny packs.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
So, in case you need more bag for your bag,
no, for hiking. If you're a hiking person,
you
put your little snacks in there or whatever.
No, you put film in them.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Where else are you gonna put?
I will say Wandrd has one feature on these Provoke bags that every other bag manufacturer should copy, which is the fact that you can zip down and collapse the water bottle pocket.
Oh, yes. Yeah. That's
when you don't want the water bottle pocket sticking out, it has a little zipper, and you can collapse it up so it's not sticking out. It's great.
You can simply make it go away.
It's wonderful. Everyone should have that.
Did we cover wasn't there was it Peak Design that is or was doing a Kickstarter for luggage and then was like...
Oh, yeah, they're doing a Kickstarter, and they're causing a lot of consternation because...
Yeah, because
it's going to be available in our stores.
Yeah, so they sent out like half of the rewards to Kickstarter backers, and then they're like, good news for all of you waiting. We're selling these to the general public first. And then you'll get yours. And then they were like, wow, people didn't really respond well to that. And I'm like, well, yeah, because you basically told people that you're going to let others cut in line with them, or in front of them. So maybe, don't do that. I'm also seeing that Bellroy, you know of Bellroy, the obnoxious
I'm aware,
wallet company?
I know of Bellroy.
Luggage has landed. They now have luggage of their own. We're living in a luggage renaissance.
Great.
Yeah. Everybody's traveling.
Is that
It
good?
has-
Like, I don't know if that's good.
I don't know if that's good. These have built-in TSA zipper locks,
Okay.
which is great
sure.
because that means when they break, you can't replace them. Yeah. Love the built-in. I mean, I feel like Away sort of started this whole thing, right? But yeah, whatever.
Yeah, kind of.
This is the only camera-related news I could find from WWDC. Apple's iOS 26 will let users know when their camera lens needs cleaning. Lens cleaning
Thank
hint,
goodness,
it's called.
to be honest.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
How many pictures have you gotten from family members where it's just smudged, unreadable, blurry garbage because they don't clean their damn camera sensor?
Yeah, it's a problem. Yeah.
The iPhone telling you, hey, fix this. That sounds wonderful. Thank you, Apple.
Well, and you would think it's pretty easy to if there's a uniform blur across the entire image, that's a fairly easy thing to sort of do, machine vision and be like, oh, clean the lens.
It should be fairly easy for it to figure that out.
It should be. It's using the power of AI, Apple intelligence.
Yeah, probably.
I also note here, there's like the big list of features unveiled. This one I'm struggling to quite understand exactly what it is going to happen with. This AirPods automatic switching with CarPlay. Huh? 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 What? You shouldn't.
What do you mean?
Okay.
What do you mean by this?
Yeah. You shouldn't be putting your headphones in the car. That's a little weird.
Oh, but so many people are.
Yeah.
So many people are putting their headphones in the car.
I don't want to think about that. It also says Arabic calculator, and I was pretty sure that we already used Arabic numerals, so I'm not sure what that's about.
They put the numbers on the left.
Oh, right.
Right.
They should give us a Roman numeral
just
calculator.
by the numbers. There we go. I don't know what that's about either. I haven't installed the betas because I need my phone to work.
Yeah, that's the thing about them.
Once my phone, I need it.
Once you no longer require your phone to function as a phone, you will consider putting the beta on it. But yeah.
If you don't need it to function anymore, it's fine. But I do need it to function. So,
a German film lab called Optic Old School has announced a brand new color film called OptiColour 200 that will be available in 35mm and 120. It's Optics Old School's first ever film release, and it's made entirely in Germany. It is a fresh emulsion.
It's an actually new emulsion?
Yes. It is a fresh emulsion that is not yet available to consumers. That's because the shop has taken the emulsion from Orwo's NC200, which has not yet been released. Interesting.
Huh. I mean, the sample pictures look pretty good.
I say the sample photos look decent, which kind of surprised me because I've tried some of the Orwo films and I am not wasn't that impressed, but yeah. Interesting. Little less than $12 a roll. So that's for 120
before tariffs.
Well, yeah, that's true. We'll see.
We'll see if tariff the shit out of this. It's going to be like $20.
Yeah. We'll see if we can even get our hands on this. So yeah.
I suspect it will be possible at some point.
Yeah. And finally, on tariff news, Fuji has announced that it is moving production of 4 of the most popular X series cameras from China to Japan, specifically to mitigate the impact of tariffs. This includes the XT5, the XM5, the X106, and the XT50. So if you were waiting to get one of those because they were not in stock, you will be waiting longer because they're moving production.
Keep waiting.
You will continue to wait. Interesting, though. I wonder if we'll see this from. Although I will say a lot of Nikon has a lot of their stuff made in Thailand, so they're probably. Right. I think Canon does too. So I don't know how many of the.
I believe that's right. Yeah.
I don't know how many of the Japanese camera companies besides Fuji are getting stuff made in China. I think a lot of them are.
Don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's hard to tell.
Interesting. Yeah.
I wonder if this is a situation where, like, will people be willing to pay more for these things now because they're made in Japan?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because on the forums, people complain a lot about, on Chinese-made cameras, even though there's nothing wrong with them.
Or cameras from Japanese brands that aren't made in Japan, and it's like, I mean, it's working, isn't it? Like, yeah, I don't know.
So it makes me wonder, like, will people pay more for these because they're Japanese? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's possible.
Anyway, that's the news for this week.
We got an old camera watch that I discovered.
Interesting.
One of my favorite YouTube channels, Curious Mark, he's a engineer here in the Bay. He loves old HP test equipment.
Interesting.
And HP back in the day had this device called the HP 197A and the HP 198A.
This is the thing time was your product name was just some numbers.
Just some numbers, yeah. HP was famous for having all of their products be some numbers.
Right.
Yeah, all of them were just some numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But these devices are from 1965. The 197 and 198 are from that era. Back then, you couldn't just save a JPEG of your oscilloscope when you were doing lab experiments.
Well, you sure could.
But you could take a picture of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so what these are is a Polaroid camera that sticks onto the front of your oscilloscope and uses Polaroid. I forget which Polaroid film, but
it's a bespoke Polaroid camera, basically, specifically for your oscilloscope.
Correct. And there's two different variants. One is a manual shutter. One is electronic. The 198 is electronic. The 197 is a manual shutter. But it uses these old Polaroid packs.
Because did you see also in the news recently was Bill Atkinson, who was one of the founding Macintosh development members and did a lot of the initial user interface design, passed away. And
yes,
I saw. So back then, you also couldn't just take a screenshot to show people your user interface. So he had a number of Polaroids, basically pointing a Polaroid at the Macintosh screen and taking a photo to then mark up and say, here's what the user interface looks like. So this is that, but specifically designed for this oscilloscope, and I guess really only for this oscilloscope, because it's got to have a ridiculous.
I think it worked on a variety of HP oscilloscopes, but yeah, it's for like
but it's still got to have
it's
still got to have a pretty close focal distance, because it's right
does.
up on there. So yeah.
So there's two of these. One of them is manually actuated, and one of them has electronics.
Mm-hmm.
Both contain a little.
These are
light.
delightful looking. They match the aesthetic of the classic HP equipment.
I love these
big chunky knobs.
So both of them have a little light to illuminate the oscilloscope screen, so that you can see the lines on the screen, right? Because if it's dark, you can't see the lines anymore because those get illuminated by light.
Yeah.
The problem is these use Type 107 Polaroid film. Which was discontinued, I believe, in like 2000.
I was going to say, I don't even recognize that particular number. Yeah,
it's a very wide format. It went in the Polaroid 350, like wide format camera.
I'm looking at a photo of one of said cameras, and it's a wide boy. Yeah.
Yeah. The Polaroid land camera.
Yeah.
And then each of them, each of the packs only has like 5 shots in it or something like that. They're very small.
Mm-hmm.
There was another film you could use, which was Fujifilm FP3000.
Is this peel apart
But-
too? I think it is.
Yes, it is peel apart.
Yeah. Wow.
So Fujifilm FP3000 was a possible replacement, but that also is discontinued.
Yeah.
So currently there is no film that you can use for this.
That's not very old.
That's not very old. However, if you have a dark room, a dark room at your disposal, what you can do is sort of disassemble a pack of FP3000 or the Polaroid Type 107 film and stick a piece of Instax wide in there and then put it back together and put it in the camera and then it works. It still works.
That is...
So in the video that we've linked, Mark shows how he does this. And yeah, you have to go into a dark room, disassemble the Instax wide frame, like disassemble the pack of Instax wide film, put it into the carrier for the other film, put it into the camera, all in the dark, because if you let light leak into it, then it's ruined. Yeah, and then roll it through the rollers to spread the emulsion, and it works. You get pretty decent looking pictures out of it.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It's also an awful lot of effort to go through for that.
No, sorry. What he did even better is he put it in there, but to squeeze the emulsion onto the photo, right, out of the little pack at the bottom of the Instax wide, he put it into an Instax wide camera, covered the lens, and took a shot.
It. You know,
so
that
in
works.
the dark room, he had to go like into the dark and transfer it in the dark into the Instax wide camera.
Jeez.
But it works. So if you have one of these and want to use it on your old CRT oscilloscope,
all you
still
need
can.
is a dark room, a CRT oscilloscope.
But if you go in the video, go to like 31 minutes, you can see the pictures that he got out of it. And it looks pretty good. Of course, the difference is these are color, whereas the originals would have been black and white. But still, it looks decent.
That's actually pretty impressive. That's like album artwork kind of material, I feel like.
Totally.
Yeah.
But these are just really fascinating like devices. It is a Polaroid land camera like in this HP box. It's very, very fascinating that these things existed. Apparently there's a lot of lab equipment like this where it's like this weird, like you had to take pictures and you wanted them to be consistent. So there's all these different kinds of fixtures that like stick onto the front of a piece of lab equipment to take a picture of it. One of them even has a little window so you can like look through it to see your oscilloscope still. Like after you've put the camera on.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're trying to trigger off a particular,
yeah,
if you're trying to catch a single pulse or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thankful for just being able to shove a flash drive in there and press a button.
Yeah, saving a JPEG is nice. We like to save a JPEG.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Save a JPEG, save the planet.
Save a JPEG, save the planet. I'm writing that one down.
That's all we got for you today.
That's all we got.
It's go out there, go pre-order a Fuji camera because there've been 6 new models in the past 6 months. I understand other camera companies have also released new cameras, but
yeah, probably.
I'm not familiar with their work, so yeah. We'll see. Stay tuned for the latest news on whether there will be an X Pro 4 or not.
Yeah, we'll be the first to update you, I'm sure.
Yeah. We're really keeping an eye on that one, let me tell you.